Okay, next up is about failsafe, what it's about, and why you should definitely set it, in my opinion. Over the years, I've been in RC, there's always been a debate about whether failsafe's best to have things hold, meaning whatever position you were in when you lost signal to the receiver, that's where the control stayed. Other people have a philosophy to bringing everything back to neutral, and that kind of thing. So, half a dozen one, half a dozen other. One thing that is, I think, important in my opinion is on an airplane or a helicopter is to have it drop throttle. That's just my opinion. That way it doesn't go flying off full power somewhere, God knows where. So let me explain how this system works. By default, if you lose signal from the transmitter to the receiver, by default, if you don't set failsafe, it will hold everything. And let me give you an example here on what I mean. I'll go ahead and turn on. Okay, I'm going to transmit. I'm going to turn on the receiver. All right. We got the link. As you see, there's my throttle, right? So by default, if we don't do anything and set up failsafe, if I go full throttle, you see the servo, there's full, there's low, there's full. If I turn off the transmitter, all right, you'll see that when the link is broke, the servo is still at full throttle. If this is a speed control, it's going to remain at full throttle. That's the signal it's getting, okay? So what I think is important is to set up failsafe so that at least, if anything, throttle goes to zero. So basically I'm going to show you how to do that and then how to turn off failsafe if you need to. So in my opinion, this is the way I'd set up a helicopter. One is, and I've got this upside down, but I'll just spin this around. One is I like everything to return to center stick and zero pitch. So what does that mean? I want the failsafe so that all my cyclic servos and rudder and everything go back to neutral, and that my pitch goes to zero pitch. That's way if, let's say I was at full pitch when I lost signal, the helicopter is going to continue with full pitch or full negative or whatever, and even though the throttle's cut, having full pitch means the helicopter can still go off pretty far before it falls to the ground, possibly into a crowd or who knows where. So I like to go zero pitch so there's no attitude change should I lose the signal. Okay, so how do you do that and still have throttle cut? Because throttle and pitch are tied together. So if I was to failsafe here at center stick, I'm going to have half throttle. So we need to set up a way to be able to go to low throttle, yet when I set the fail-safes, be at center stick. So what I've done, let me just turn on here real quick. So what I've done, and I'll go ahead and transmit. So what I've done, and I will show you how to do this in a minute. So what I've done is I've gone, in next videos, upcoming videos, I'll show you how to set throttle hold and how to set your conditions. But if I go in here and I look at throttle hold, I've enabled it, okay, to zero throttle. And I've basically then gone into my conditions, flight conditions, and I've gone ahead and added conditions, but I've also added hold, and I set hold so it was this switch right here, which is pretty common on a helicopter radio. So that's my hold switch. So, and as you see, if I go into the monitor menu, okay, and into the monitor menu, you'll see my throttle channel here, and as I go full throttle, low throttle, low throttle. If I set the stick at center, of course I'm at mid throttle, but if I hit the hold switch, I'm testing to show that my throttle's going low when I hit the hold switch. Okay, so this is the way I like to set up for failsafe. I'm in hold and I'm at zero pitch. Now, one way on this radio to find out you're at zero pitch is to go into a throttle curve, all right, and look at the position of the stick on the graph. This radio doesn't really have a 50 in, 50 out to show you, but basically I would put the stick there so it looks center in the graph, so now I know I'm at zero pitch center stick. Okay, so how do we set up failsafe? So let's go ahead and turn on the receiver. All right, and we just got linked, and I'm going to go into throttle hold. Okay, as you can see, when I hit throttle hold, you can see the throttle servos moving to low throttle. All right, then what you do is you hold the button down, all right, for 6 seconds, and the LEDs will start toggling. Okay, they'll go out and then they'll start toggling. It is now learning the fail-safe position, and once they go steady, I haven't moved any sticks or anything, we now have set fail-safe. All right, and by the way, you notice I'm no longer linked after doing that, so that means I have to power down. Seems like anything you do on this radio and that kind of thing, you always have to power down, like switching between normal and scan mode and everything. So we'll power up. All right, we'll say transmit, yes. Got to lower the throttle and come out of hold. All right, so I'm out of hold and here's my throttle. Oops, let me power up the receiver. Okay, we connected. There's my throttle. So now here's what the failsafe does. Let's say I'm at full throttle, all right, and I lose my signal. So I'm going to turn off the transmitter. Watch what happens to the servo. Goes to low throttle. All right, same thing. Let me plug in one of the cyclic servos here. All right, turn back on. Okay, because I set failsafe, transmit yes, lower the throttle. Because I set failsafe, now I'm hooked to a cyclic servo, as you see, all right? So if I hold the stick in a corner, when I turn off the transmitter, watch what happens. I set my failsafe to go neutral, so the servo moved back to where I had the sticks when I set the failsafe. All right, so I think that's important to do. Get your throttle to go low. I like to, again, go to zero pitch. That's my preference, and center sticks rather than hold. Okay, so let's say for some strange reason you no longer want to have a failsafe and you want to get out of having a failsafe. So let me turn everything off, turn back on. Okay, I'm going to say transmit yes, lower the throttle. And then we're going to go turn on the receiver, and we've linked. So now I'm going to take it out of failsafe mode, all right? This is just for informational in case you want to turn it off for whatever reason. You hold the button down again. Wait till the lights go out, and then wait till they start blinking and press the button during the blinking period. Now we've disabled failsafe, and the way you tell that is I'm linked right now. If I leave it at full throttle and I turn off the transmitter, you will see the servo stays where it is. I've now disabled the failsafe that I had programmed. All right, so that's what failsafe is all about. That's how you set it. Again, I gave my recommendations for where I would set failsafe. I think it's rather important on a helicopter for sure, for throttle to go low. Your decision on whether you want it to go negative pitch or positive. My preference is center, zero pitch or center stick. So that's kind of the way I like to do it. That's how you program it. Hope that was helpful. We'll see you in the next video.